In the Prime universe, Starfleet explores strange new worlds. In the Mirror universe, they conquer them while wearing significantly more leather. Welcome to the darkest timeline, where everyone's evil, Goatees are mandatory dress code, and the Terran Empire's idea of diplomacy is agony. Booth first, ask questions never. I'm your host, and today we're explaining every major Mirror Universe character in just 17 minutes. Buckle up, this is going to get deliciously evil. Let's make it so, let's crush our enemies and hear the lamentation of their women. The Mirror Universe debuted in the TOS episode Mirror Mirror, and it immediately established the golden rule. If you want to show a character is evil, give them a goatee, or a scar, or both, preferably while wearing leather. The costuming budget must have been wild. Mirror James T. Kirk is everything Prime Kirk pretends he's not, a brutal, ambitious captain who assassinates his way to the top. While Prime Kirk violates the Prime Directive for noble reasons, Mirror Kirk violates it for fun and profit. He's the ISS Enterprise's captain, and instead of seeking out new life, he's seeking out new planets to subjugate. His solution to every problem? The Agonizer. Diplomacy? The Agonizer. Crew morale? Believe it or not, also the Agonizer. The Agonizer is basically Starfleet's HR department in the Mirror Universe, a device that causes excruciating pain as punishment. OSHA would have a field day. Mirror Kirk's enterprise runs on fear, betrayal, and the constant threat of assassination. It's like corporate America but with more phasers. Mirror Spock is where the goatee meme was born. Leonard Nimoy grew that facial hair and accidentally created a cultural shorthand for evil version that persists to this day. Thanks, Spock! Every comedy show that's ever done an evil twin episode owes you royalties. But here's the twist, Mirror Spock is actually less evil than everyone around him. Prime Kirk talks him into reforming the Terran Empire, appealing to his logic by pointing out that the Empire's brutal methods are unsustainable. Mirror Spock listens, which is more than Prime Kirk's own crew does half the time. This is important later because, spoiler alert, his reforms completely backfire and doom the Terran Empire. Whoops. Mirror Hura rocks that midriff-bearing uniform and a knife, because apparently in the Mirror Universe, Starfleet dress code is dystopian nightclub. She's flirtatious, deadly, and climbing the ranks through any means necessary. Mirror Scotty is still an engineering genius, but he's also perfectly willing to commit murder for advancement. And Mirror Sulu, complete with that facial scar? He's lecherous, violent, and makes Prime Sulu look like a choir boy. Oh my, indeed. Then there's Marlon Amoro, the captain's woman, a position that exists in the Mirror Universe and is exactly as problematic as it sounds. She's Mirror Kirk's concubine, but also plays the political game, showing that survival in the Terran Empire requires constant scheming. The Mirror Universe is basically Game of Thrones, but everyone's wearing vinyl. DS9 took the Mirror Universe and said, what if we made this dark? And by dark, I mean they turned it into a serialized political thriller with leather, betrayal, and the most complicated relationship dynamics in Trek history. DS9 visited the Mirror Universe 6 times because apparently the writers couldn't resist. The Intendant, aka Mirror Kira, is the bisexual icon the Mirror Universe deserves. She rules the station with style, seduction, and strategic cruelty. Where Prime Kira is a freedom fighter with trauma, the Intendant is a hedonistic, power-hungry Cardassian collaborator who uses her beauty and cunning to maintain control. She's campy, she's evil, she's absolutely magnetic on screen. The Intendant's defining trait? She's really into Prime Kira, like uncomfortably into her. Their interactions are charged with tension that made 90s audiences extremely confused about their feelings. The Intendant represents what Kira could have become without her moral compass, and she's having way more fun. Mirror Miles O'Brien is the saddest character in any universe, while Prime O'Brien suffers through time travel accidents, getting replaced by replicants, and watching his daughter age 18 years overnight. Mirror O'Brien suffers through being a timid rebel slave who gets shot repeatedly. This man cannot catch a break in any timeline. He's married to Mirror Keiko, who's a stone-cold revolutionary instead of a botanist, which honestly feels like an upgrade. Mirror O'Brien dies multiple times. He gets resurrected, only to continue suffering. It's like the universe looked at O'Brien and said, your primary purpose is pain. At least Prime O'Brien has the Enterprise D model and his holosuite programs. Mirror O'Brien has revolution and death. Poor bastard. Mirror Benjamin Sisko is fascinating, because he's not the emissary in the Mirror Universe. There is no emissary, which means the prophets either don't exist or don't care about the Terran Empire. Mirror Sisko starts as a brutal enforcer for the Alliance, but eventually becomes a rebel leader, though his methods are, let's say, morally flexible. The heartbreaking twist? Mirror Sisko's wife, Jennifer, is alive in the Mirror Universe, which gives Prime Sisko emotional whiplash every time he visits. Mirror Jennifer is a scientist working for the Rebellion, and Prime Sisko has to resist the temptation to stay in a universe where his wife is alive. It's gut-wrenching and beautifully done. Mirror Julian Bashir is delightfully evil, where Prime Bashir is an optimistic, genetically enhanced doctor with a moral code. Mirror Bashir is an amoral opportunist who works for whoever pays best. He's still brilliant, still charming, but completely untrustworthy. He's also involved with the Intendant because everyone in the Mirror Universe is involved with everyone else. It's complicated. The Rebels nickname Mirror O'Brien Smiley, which is ironic because this man has nothing to smile about. Smiley becomes the chief engineer of the Rebellion and builds the Defiant in the Mirror Universe using schematics from Prime O'Brien. So even in the Mirror Universe, O'Brien is performing engineering miracles while suffering. It's his brand. Mirror Ezri Dax shows up later and is basically punk rock Ezri with more knives and less Starfleet training. She's not joined with the Dax symbiont in the Mirror Universe. She's just a violent pirate. This raises the question, is being joined what makes Dax wise, or would Ezri have been a disaster in any timeline? The Mirror Universe suggests the latter. Mirror Worf, the regent of the Klingon-Cardassian Alliance, is exactly as over-the-top as it sounds. He wears an elaborate costume that makes Prime Worf's sash look understated, and rules the Alliance with an iron fist. Mirror Worf has everything Prime Worf ever wanted: power, respect, fear. And yet he's still miserable, because being Worf means suffering in every timeline. It's canonical. Mirror Garrick is barely different from Prime Garrick, which is the funniest joke DS9 ever made. Prime Garrick is already a morally ambiguous spy and assassin. Mirror Garrick is also that. He's just slightly more open about it. When your Prime Universe version is already that morally gray, there's nowhere to go. Well played, Garrick. Mirror Bra-Lil is a thief and con artist instead of a Bajoran spiritual leader, which is actually an improvement because at least Mirror Bra-Lil has personality. Prime Bra-Lil was bland and boring. Mirror Bra-Lil is fun. He dies, of course, because Mirror Universe characters have a life expectancy of about 20 minutes. The DS9 Mirror Universe reveals that Spock's reforms led to the fall of the Terran Empire. The Empire became peaceful, and the Klingon-Cardassian Alliance immediately conquered them. Humans became slaves. Spock's logical reforms doomed humanity. This is what happens when you listen to Vulcans. Kirk should have left well enough alone. Enterprise gave us a two-part Mirror Universe episode that's basically what if the Terran Empire existed during the NX-01 era. And the answer is, it's amazing. The opening credits are the regular Enterprise intro, but with evil historical events, fascist imagery, and conquest replacing exploration. They even made the theme song menacing. That takes effort. Mirror Jonathan Archer is everything Prime Archer wishes he could be: confident, ruthless, and not constantly second-guessing himself. He's got a gnarly facial scar, commands through fear, and his solution to the temporal Cold War is to ignore it and focus on personal advancement. Honestly, not that different from Prime Archer's approach. Mirror Archer's big plan? Steal the USS Defiant, not the one from DS9, but the Constitution-class ship from TOS that got trapped in the Mirror Universe through a Tholian mishap. It's a ship from the future with advanced weapons, and Mirror Archer immediately uses it to try overthrowing the Empire. Big ambition, worse execution, but the real winner is Empress Hoshi Sato. That's right, the shy linguist from Prime Universe becomes the Empress of the Terran Empire in the Mirror Universe. Mirror Hoshi plays the long game. She seduces Mirror Archer, learns the Defiant systems, poisons him, and takes the ship and the throne for herself. She then founds a dynasty that rules for centuries. Mirror Hoshi proves that intelligence and cunning beat brute force. While every other character is stabbing each other in the front, she's playing 4D chess. The final shot of her as Empress, with the Defiant hovering over Earth, is one of the most badass moments in Trek history. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Mirror T'Pol as well, she's wearing even less than intended Kira, which is an achievement. The Enterprise Mirror Universe episodes have a lot of gratuitous midriff shots and questionable costume choices. Mirror T'Pol is still Vulcan, but she's ambitious, emotional, and ruthlessly pragmatic. She and Mirror Archer have a relationship that's built on mutual opportunism and the knowledge that they'll betray each other eventually. Mirror Pelox is a mad scientist who runs horrifying experiments and treats the crew with disturbing enthusiasm. Where Prime Phlox is cheerful and ethical, Mirror Phlox is cheerful and UN ethical. He still smiles while describing his torture techniques. It's unsettling. Phlox's optimism translates terribly to the Mirror Universe. Mirror Travis Mayweather actually gets character development in the Mirror Universe, which is more than Prime Travis ever got. He's ambitious, violent, and memorable. Everything ENT failed to make Prime Travis. The Mirror Universe gave Travis Mayweather more personality in 2 episodes than 4 seasons of Enterprise. Discovery took the Mirror Universe and cranked it up to 11. We're talking full-on palace intrigue, grotesque violence, and plot twists that make DS9's Mirror episodes look tame. Also, everyone is eating people now. That's new. Mirror Gabriel Lorca is the twist that broke the fandom. For an entire season, we thought Lorca was just a traumatized Prime Universe captain with PTSD. Nope. He's Mirror Lorca, who crossed over to the Prime Universe, seduced Starfleet into giving him a ship, and manipulated Burnham into helping him return to the Mirror Universe so he could overthrow the Emperor. It's the longest con in Trek history, and it worked. In retrospect, all the signs were there: his sensitivity to light, his ruthless tactics, his complete lack of Starfleet ethics. Mirror Lorca played everyone, and when the reveal happens, it recontextualizes the entire first season. He wasn't a damaged hero, he was a displaced tyrant using Starfleet resources for a coup. Diabolical. Emperor Philippa Georgiou is the ruler of the Terran Empire, and she is magnificent. Where Prime Georgiou was a noble, compassionate captain who died saving her crew, Emperor Georgiou is a calculating, cannibalistic tyrant who eats the flesh of her enemies, specifically Kelpians. She keeps Kelpians as a delicacy. That's how evil she is. Michelle Yeoh clearly had the time of her life playing evil Georgiou. She's elegant, deadly, and completely unrepentant. Emperor Georgiou represents everything wrong with the Terran Empire: power through fear, survival through cruelty, and a complete disregard for life. She's also one of the most compelling characters in Discovery because she's interesting. Prime Burnham brings Emperor Georgiou back to the Prime Universe, which is either the best or worst decision ever. Emperor Georgiou joins Section 31 because of course she does. The Federation's Black Ops organization is the only place where her skill set is valued. She eventually gets her own redemption arc in Season 3, proving that even Space Hitler can grow. Maybe. Mirror Michael Burnham is the Emperor's adopted daughter and captain of the ISS Shenzhou. She's ruthless, ambitious, and extremely violent. Everything Prime Burnham would be without Sarek and Georgiou's guidance. The two Burnhams meeting is fascinating because it highlights how circumstance shapes character. Also, they fight, and it's brutal. Mirror Paul Stamets is a power-hungry scientist who weaponizes the mycelial network for the Empire. Where Prime Stamets is an ethical, brilliant researcher, Mirror Stamets is willing to destroy entire ecosystems for personal gain. His relationship with the network is exploitative rather than symbiotic, which ultimately dooms him. Ecology doesn't care which universe you're from. Abuse the network, suffer the consequences. The Mirror Universe version of Vogue/Tyler gets even more complicated because Discovery's Vogue/Tyler situation was already insane. In the Mirror Universe, the character dynamics shift, but honestly, by this point, even hardcore fans needed a flowchart to track who was whom and which version did what. Discovery's Mirror Universe is a lot. Mirror Tilly, aka Captain Killy, is the most delightful subversion. Prime Tilly is sweet, nervous, and lovable. Mirror Tilly, aka Captain Killy, is the most delightful subversion. Prime Tilly is sweet, nervous, and lovable. Mirror Tilly is Captain Killy, a brutal, feared captain known for spacing entire crews. When Prime Tilly has to impersonate her mirror self, it's comedy gold. Mary Wiseman plays both versions perfectly, and Captain Killy became an instant fan favorite despite having minimal screen time. The ISS Charon, the Emperor's Palace ship, is powered by literally harvesting energy from the mycelial network. It's a massive, grotesque display of power that's actively destroying the multiverse. Of course it explodes, because all Mirror Universe superweapons must explode. It's tradition. Let's rapid fire through some Mirror Universe rules and characters we didn't cover in depth. Mirror Sarek exists and is presumably just as logical but evil. Mirror Amanda, Spock's mother, raises an even more complicated version of Spock. The emotional dynamics of Vulcan-human relations in the Mirror Universe are never explored, but we can assume family dinners are very different. In DS9's Mirror Universe, the Klingon-Cardassian alliance rules, which means Klingons and Cardassians formed an alliance instead of being enemies. This implies that Klingon and Cardassian mirror counterparts are more cooperative, which is hilarious because both species are already pretty aggressive in the Prime universe. Mirror universe technology is wild. The Agonizer causes pain. The Agony Booth causes more pain. The Tantalus field just disintegrates people. Terran engineering is less how do we explore and more how do we cause maximum suffering efficiently. Starfleet Academy in the Mirror universe must have a fascinating curriculum. The costume department deserves an award for the Mirror universe. Everyone wears leather midriff-bearing outfits and dramatic shoulder pads. It's like the Terran Empire's dress code was designed by a BDSM enthusiast with a Star Trek fetish. And you know what? It works. The costumes immediately signal evil universe without a single word of dialogue. Production design in the Mirror universe is consistently darker. Red lighting, harsher shadows, more ominous music. Even the transporter effects are slightly more menacing. Star Trek's production teams understood the assignment, make everything look evil without being ridiculous. Mostly. And there you have it, every major Star Trek Mirror Universe character explained in 16 minutes, from Spock's legendary goatee to Emperor Georgiou peen-eating habits. The Mirror Universe is Star Trek's playground for exploring what our heroes would be like without morality, ethics, or decent lighting. What makes the Mirror Universe so compelling isn't just the camp and leather, though let's be honest, that helps. It's the exploration of nature versus nurture. Are we products of our circumstances, or is there something inherently good or evil within us? The Mirror Universe suggests that context matters, that the same person in different circumstances becomes unrecognizable. Also, the Mirror Universe gives us amazing villains who are just fun to watch. The Intendant, Emperor Georgiou, Empress Sato. These characters are captivating because they're unrestrained by Starfleet's moral code. They're what happens when ambition has no limits. Which Mirror Universe character is your favorite? Are you Team Evil Spock's logical reformation, Team Intendant's chaotic energy, or Team Emperor Georgiou's elegant tyranny? Let me know in the comments. And if you think you'd survive the Mirror Universe, you're wrong. You'd die in the Agony Booth within a week. Accept it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and engage that notification disruptor. We're dropping new Star Trek Explained videos every week, and next time we're diving into why the Dominion War was actually winnable if Starfleet had just listened to Sisko earlier. Live long and prosper, or conquer and dominate, depends on which universe you're in. Thanks for watching Star Trek Explained. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to check if I have a goatee in the mirror, just to be safe.